Hi all, welcome back to more Red Storm. Okay, this is Red Storm using the dark blue defection expansion of 10 scenarios. Let's say we've done 4, this is scenario 5 and it's titled Dark Blue Defection. This is part 2, part 1 just a bit of introduction there, so not an awful lot happened. Well, nothing happened, just talking about some things. Okay, I'll get into try and just get a little bit started because we know it's quite slow at the beginning, and I imagine it's somewhere here. Although we've got to think about what we're wanting to achieve. But you can see the Warsaw Pact flights are quite a bit distance away from the situation here. Our bombers are reasonably close, and our fighters are reasonably close as well. But I want to say it's possible the fighters want to get ahead of things and let the bombers get on with some stuff in there. You know what? I'm not really that sure. Anyway, 2 or 3 comments. Just a couple of comments from Howard. Howard Rigg, who's the designer of the Dark Blue Defection expansion. One of these comments he made, he's left in part 30 of scenario 4, but he brought it forward into part 1 of scenario 5 as well, just for people just to come to grips with what he's talking about here. He says that this is at the 23-minute mark of that's part 1, part 1 of this scenario. He says he commented on NSC part 30, but just in case anyone else does not watch that scenario, I'm commenting here too. The point of the bot, and we're talking about playwright scenario card. No, it's not that I need. It's actual Dark Blue Defection rules, isn't it? This was in the previous scenario as well, by the way, Howard. So there must have been a reason. It was in scenario 4. This rule, because I think I blundered, and it is in scenario 5, obviously, like you say. That's why I just jumped ahead to scenario 6, and it looks like it's in there as well. So, but it makes sense when you hear what he's talking about here, and it is bot flight target priority for engagement actions is detected good order flights first. So, I mean, it doesn't really take much to think about why that could be, but just in case, Howard's got a wee explanation here. He says the point of the bot targeting detected good order flights first, and he's got in brackets, the bot does not normally do this, so it will attack the closest detected flight even if it's disordered, which may be to its benefit since the defending flight would be rolling on the 1 column as you discover with Cobra flight. Yeah, but like I say, you've got that rule in scenario 4, so that actual attack shouldn't have happened. However, I think hang on. Yeah, no, that's what we got. That must have been all wrong, that. Because John did pull me up and reminded me that we should have been rolling on the 1 column. Because we were disordered, that Warsaw Pact flight shouldn't have even been attacking us. It should have been after one of the other flights. Because the same rule is in scenario 4 about going for good order flights. However, anyway, where are we? The point of the bot targeting detected good order flights first is to make the bot flights target the helicopters if the air-air combats go their way. I did not want the bot to chase down disordered cap flights. They should therefore go for the helicopters, which will be detected, or go for the SEAD flight. So you can see what he's saying there, and you could possibly game it a little bit as well by saying, let's get our fighters in there, and if they're disordered, we can basically drag their fighters away with us and carry on our mission and our bombers and our mission. You know, nobody's bothering about up here. We're just getting in with the bombers and we're getting in rescuing Nikolai and off we go. So you can see the sense in that. And to be honest, the fact it was in the previous, I actually think that's quite a good thing. Okay, I suppose, like Howard said there, that you are going to be rolling on the 1 column if you are attacked as a disordered flight. So that's not so good for you. But anyway, that's the reason the rule was there, was to protect against that, and you can understand that. Right, another comment he made, and this was in part 1 as well. Well, just as well as I did that, because I did just read up on the helicopter rules. He says, in the latest version of the manual, I added a you know what? I've got it online, that's right, but I was reading it out of the book. Right, fair enough. He says, in the latest version of the manual, I added a clarification for the helo flight such that it does not become unready for 5 turns upon landing, which would break the scenario. It can take off the turn after landing if it recovers Nikolai. And what does mean, if you look under the helicopter rules, can I quickly find that? Probably not. Yeah, here. Landed helicopters do not move. While landed, a helicopter is treated as an unready flight. And the fact Howard's saying 5 turns there, that must be how many turns it takes to take off again. So that's been removed basically, because it would, you can't have the whole point is to get down there. Well, it can tick over the turns depending on a die roll, can't it? If I remember reading the scenario instruction, the special scenario rules said there could be fighting going on and we can't rescue them. That's number 7 there. When it lands, target hit, roll 1d10, 4 to 10 Nikolai is recovered. So if that happens, the next turn you'd be able to just take off again. But however, on a 1 to 3 fighting around the extraction point ensues, Nikolai is not recovered, roll again on each subsequent turn. So if you were bad with your die roll, you could sit there for a few turns, but obviously with this 5 turns and unready. So if you look up the latest edition of the rulebook online, I want to say it's got a version 3, I think. What is it? Maybe it's 1.3 or whatever the latest one is there, it must have that in it. So thanks for the points, Howard. That's great. Right, and then one comment by John Brown from part 1. He says, at the 11-minute and 25-second mark, he says, remember your training. Use that list of airfields in the appendix book to find the hex numbers for those airfields. I was talking about the airfields that were closed. To be honest, John, I've never brought this appendix book out. It's always been in the box. So I went and brought it out just now, just to have a look. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I've never even really delved into this, and I'm sure there's a lot of hints and tips here, isn't there? Designer's notes and tactical hints. Is this where the example of player is on as well? Yeah, it is, isn't it? So where are the airfields then? Orders of battle. Here we go. Appendix B, airfields. There we go. So yeah, it names, what was it, Hawkster is one of them. So basically I'd be able to look it up there, Hawkster, Hex 4505, and we could maybe find that. Well, I think John says one of them is on the map here. I think it's that one actually. 4505. It must be up high. Is it way up the top there? There it is. Hawkster, so way up there. Well, give me an airfield closed marker right now. And I think he says the other one's away down the south, doesn't he? The other one, Kitzingen, is way down at 5950, which is off the south of the map as you have it folded. But he does sort of say neither is likely to play much of a part in the scenario, but you never know. But yeah, good to remind me, John. And you're right, I should have been, my training should be over by now, I should be able to do things properly. Okay, thanks for all the comments, and no doubt there'll be more to come. So I did have a look at the rules, the extra 2 rules that are coming in here. The night rules and the helicopters. I had a look when I was coming back on the train today, just back from work. There's not much in the night rules, to be honest, but there's enough to keep things a bit tricky. I think the main ones are the turning limits, and I remember now when we look at that played card 1, we're going to have to remember that it's night max turn and altitude band, and look, free night turns as well. Okay, they don't seem to vary, apart from if you've got 1 or 2 movement points. So 3 and 4 they're going to be the normal for us between 3 and 8, isn't it? So they are staying the same. But you can see the difference. We've got a maximum of 60 for a complete turn, whereas we've been, being able to enjoy 90 degrees and 120 degree turns. So that's a big one. The other one, and I wanted to check this, was ground collisions. So I'm kind of hoping, but I'm kind of thinking that this might not be the case. Yeah, I had a feeling our cap flights maybe wouldn't have this. Right, so it says this is well, there's also a moon phase as well, but we were told it's a full moon. I get the feeling there's maybe a marker for that and a counter for that. But I think we can remember it's either full moon or no moon, I think. So we are full moon. I want to double check that just in case. Night. It's night and it's a full moon. Okay. So there's that. Now visual detection. You do have situations with visual detection and then there's visual identification, which I need to go and look at again because I know the two things are different, and it just I can't find what the difference is right now without going to have a look at it again. So some of them are slightly different. We'll have a look when we get to them. Night navigation. That's about what tasks they can have and that part initially. But I mean, all this has been set up for us. All our equipment, you can only pick aircrafts that have night capability or limited night capability. And they can only, aircraft with limited night capability may be assigned the cap or close escort task in any moon weather conditions, but maybe, there's different tasks that they can be assigned. But all that's been dealt with for us. I mean, we've clearly got all our flights having the night capability or night limited capability, which is the Warsaw Pact side of it. And then we've got our turning limits, like I said. And then the last part is ground collisions. Now, it says a flight not, this is page 41 under the night rules, 23.22 ground collisions. And it says, hang on, let's look at this one. Right, so a flight not taking off, landing, or equipped with terrain following radar, right, on the deck at night, or on mist and day. Well, we've not got any mist and day, but on the deck at night, which is relevant to us, must roll 2 dice for each aircraft in the flight for the first deck altitude hex entered via movement, SAM avoidance, or scatter in the movement phase. On a final roll of 3 or less, the aircraft crashes. It's a 2 die roll here, but you do have some modifiers, die roll modifiers. -2 at night, I was confused initially by that, but you can see that this does apply during the day in mist conditions. So obviously you wouldn't get that -2 modifier if it was during the day in mist conditions. You would get it, however, if it's at night. So we're going to get that modifier. -1 if there's no moon. Well, we've got a full moon, so we wouldn't get that one. However, -1 if it's a rough hex as well that it's in, so we need to watch out for that one too. So I suppose technically we could get a -3 modifier to that roll, 2 die roll, and you've got to get greater than a 3, so a 4 or greater out of that with your modifiers, or the aircraft crashes. And you can see there, you do not roll for bailout, the crew is automatically killed in action, so it just goes down. Now the big part there is we're not going to be doing any taking off. We're not going to be doing any land. Well, we might, but it's unlikely. However, the main one there that we're looking for our flights to be equipped with terrain following radar. So that's what I was just having a glance at just now. Oh, and by the way, just before I go away from that, my reading of that is must roll 2 dice for each aircraft, remember. All these flights have 4 aircraft, so for each aircraft in the flight, for the first deck altitude hex entered via movement. So my take on that is if we've got 5 movement and we're wanting to move a deck for some strange reason, then it's only going to be the first. If we just move 5 hexes at deck, then my guess is that, like looking here, we're sitting here and we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it's going to be, the check's going to be when we move in there. We're going to check for our 4 aircraft, assuming that's what we've got. And then if we've still got 4 after that die roll, then I think the next 4 movements after that are fine. We don't check it at each hex. I think that's clear there, isn't it? It says for the first deck altitude hex entered. But it could be via movement. It could also be SAM avoidance, which we've never experienced yet. We have experienced scatter though, so it could be scatter. You could be at low altitude and a combat and scatter to deck altitude. So anyway, so the big one, terrain following radar, or if we've got that, we don't need to worry about any of that. Okay, so what do we have? Well, it's in the notes here. Now these first 3 flights are our F4Ds, and you'll see they've got a lot of notes. They've got no look down, so that's not great. Radar A, I only need to look at one of them. Sorry, I'm looking at all 3 here, but they're obviously all the same, so we'll just zoom in on that middle one. So no look down. Their RWR is A. I think that means that's a worse one, isn't it? Our jam is 3N. It's not the D, so that's the noise one, so that's not so good. Multi-roll's not any good to them because they're coming into this mission as cat missions. I think it'd only be if they were bringing some ordnance along and maybe had a SEAD mission, then they could switch to cat once they dropped it, like we had in the last scenario. So that's not any good. And obviously they've got full night capabilities. You will notice there is no what is it? TFR. There is no terrain following radar noted for them. So they are going to, it's going to apply to them what I've just read about that ground collisions. Now, you'll also notice, however, our SLAM flight has RWRC, it's got JAM 3D, it's got night capabilities, and it's got the terrain following radar. So he can come in it, which is just as well, because he's probably going to have to come down to deck. Well, maybe he could get away with being at low. We'll see. And then also the helicopter's flight has terrain following radar as well. There's some extra conditions and rules to these, which I'll go over maybe briefly just now, and then we'll have to look at it more when it comes in it. So what about the Warsaw Pact side of things? Well, they've got a MiG. What is that? Top one is the MiG-25 PD, which I think is their best. Maybe their best. I don't know. Well, it's got limited look down. Yeah, the numbers are the range in that, aren't they? If I look on the actual cards, I would see that. It's got RWRB. It's got night capabilities, so full night capabilities for it. Now, it's got IRST. Now, where was that relevant about? Yeah, I missed that out, didn't I? It says only Warsaw Pacts with, this is visual detection, only Warsaw Pacts flights with IRST sensors may make visual detection attempts at night, but only in their forward arc and at a range of 4 hexes or less. So actually, they got better visual detection with that, because the start of that paragraph is all NATO flights may make visual detection attempts at night, but only at a reduced range of 2 hexes. So although all of our flights get to do it, and yeah, it's the two top it's the MiG-25 and the MiG-23. You can see how they both got the IRST. So this one's got night IRST. Multi-rolls irrelevant, no look down here, RWRE, night limited for him with IRST. And then, but none of them up to now with terrain following radar. So they are, well, my guess is they don't want to go to deck level then. Was there any? That could be odd. I've not read anything in the rules, the special scenario rules regarding that. But remember, if we were going to use the random bot altitude change, I'm going to have to say we can't do that, surely, because you've got, see that, if we roll a 4, spend movement point to dive to deck. I think there could be, unless I missed something, surely they don't want to be down at deck level, because none of their flights, and then these are all MiG-21s, aren't they? So we just need to look at one of theirs. So they've got multi-roll, again, it's not any use to them. They've got no look down, RWRA, and night limited. The night limited part, I still haven't. Limited night navigation capability, night limited capabilities call. I still haven't seen the downside to that. It must appear somewhere. I don't think it's relevant. What it is because they've got limited night capabilities, it says aircraft with full night navigation and attack capability may conduct any assigned task at night in any weather moon conditions. Aircraft with limited night capability may be assigned the cap or close escort. Yeah, so I think I read that already actually. So I think that's only relevance to the limited part. So they've had to be assigned a specific either cap or they could be close escort, but they're all cap anyway. So maybe that's the only thing that's going to come up about the limited night. But none of them are terrain following radars, so I don't see them ever wanting to be at deck level. I think I'm going to ignore that. If we're going to use the altitude thing, I'm going to ignore the one to dive to deck, because that seems kind of silly, doesn't it? I mean, even to be honest, descending one altitude band, they're at medium just now. They start off at medium. They could reach the second waypoint and drop to low, and reach the third waypoint and maybe roll that again and drop to deck. I think I've got to maybe override some of that. I've not read anything in the special scenario rules, and even the actual full bot rules. Would there be anything about that? Maybe I don't think so. Well, I think it's I don't think it's very close. I mean, here's the thing though. I don't think any air flights apart from our bombers and the helicopter flight, obviously. All our 3 cap flights probably don't want to go anywhere near deck level, because we're going to have inherent 888. So it's unlikely we want to go down there, but yeah, and hold on. Yeah, I was saying, well, we could be cheeky and drag them down there, but I've already just said that our cap flights do not have the TFR anyway. So I'm not going to. I don't see us going to deck level at all. So I'm only going to consider moving the bot down to deck level if it was to chase after us for the reason of air combat or that, So I don't foresee it happening. And as for the random, I wonder if I should just skip the altitude change in this scenario then, just to take it out of the. I like the fact that they can climb an altitude. You know what? No, I don't think I will. I don't think I'm going to use that, because it's an optional rule, so I don't think we'll use it in this scenario, because if I roll 4 and it says spend a movement point to dive to deck, that you don't want to do that, do you? Because then next movement point it moves. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave that out. If I'm missing something there, let me know though. But that seems to be how I'm reading things. Right, and then the 25. I thought I was going to start doing stuff. Right, the helicopters part, there's a bit more to it. You know what, why don't we get things started, and then that rule there, 25.3, that's overridden in DBD because it talks about all detected helicopter flights at deck altitude becoming undetected, but that's going to be overruled in special scenario rules, because it did say that where are we? The H-53 flight starts the scenario detected and remains detected for the scenario. Do not roll for flight during the detection or tracking phase. Yeah, it stays detected. It's saying it stays detected. I mean, that one says you didn't roll either, but you just automatically undetect it. But no, it's saying it stays detected, Grant. Okay, yeah, their movement's a bit different, and there is quite a bit to read about them. But I think I'll get things started. You know, I don't want to go on and then end up we're at 45 minutes and I've just talked about the 2 new rules that are coming in. So let's just get things kicked off. Okay, so let's get card 4, which I really shouldn't need to look at right now, but I am. So we're on turn 1. My dice now. Remember, we've got 12 turns. We know what we're trying to do. This helicopter flight's trying to rescue Nikolai Krasnov, who's in that yellow cube text, but surrounded by 2K-22s and an SA-13. Our bombing flight's up there with the ATCBUs. I'm going to have a look at them as well to remind myself about how they go about. Our fighters are here. My guess is they just want to keep heading east a bit. Well, here's the other thing though. I mean, we don't want the 2K-22s firing at the helicopter. So do we want our fighters to go in there and act as bait for them? Possibly. Hang on, let me remind myself. The 2K-22s, they fire once per turn, but is it just once per turn, or is it once you can only get attacked by them once? So does that mean it could attack? They could attack more than one aircraft, shall I say? Right, you're going to have to look up a bit about that. No, pause just now. No, a mobile AA with its radar on may attack once per game turn during enemy movement. It can attack an enemy flight within 1 hex following the expenditure of a movement point. This may be the same movement point that led to its radar being turned on. Well, all the radars are turned on these. There's not really a way of tracking that, is there? But that might mean that we do want our well, I don't know. I mean, we don't want to get risk them getting hit as well, but we definitely don't want the helicopter getting attacked by them, because that's going to be mission over if that gets taken out. Well, there's 2 helicopters, but okay, right. We'll wing it. We'll work it out as we go. Right. So random event phase doesn't apply on turn 1, so move on from that. Jamming phase, right, with no jam in this turn, so we can move on for that. Detection phase, okay. Hang on. Yeah, it just kind of got me thinking there about the AA. Can they attack if the flight's undetected? No, I didn't really want to say that because I felt like I was sounding like I was kind of stupid there, but for AA barrage, which is talking about AA concentrations, which are different from, remember there's 3 types: AA concentrations, radar AAA, and mobile AAA. But for an active AA concentration projects a flat barrage zone into its hex and all adjacent hexes, Roll a barrage attack on a flight, whether friendly or enemy, detected or undetected. And, well, I've already worked out that it's not going to target Warsaw Pact flights. They kind of just get a pass on that kind of thing. But for the radar AA attacks part and the mobile AA attacks part, it doesn't talk about it can attack an enemy flight. It doesn't say that it has to be. It doesn't mention detection. That's what I'm saying. Which is kind of bothering me, but because radar AAs and mobile AAs, they're both radar type attacks. Whereas the AA barrage, the concentrations, they're not. So you think I would know this by now though, but I guess it's just I think every time we've had an attack, it's been a detected flight. I'm kind of going to assume that it doesn't matter if they're detected or not. Looking at the way it's worded there, the reason it's maybe worded under AA barrage is because it says whether friendly or enemy, detected or undetected. Whereas with a mobile AA and the radar AA, it says it can attack an enemy flight. So they won't attack friendly flights once per game turn during enemy movement. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything. There's no mention of. So we're just gonna assume that they can attack, but the actual, because the AA barrage says it doesn't matter if it's detected or not. So we're going to count them all that way. Okay, so detection. So it's the same again. We're D and they're C. So that's the same kind of rules there, right? Okay, let's do just standard detection then. What did I want? I wanted that, yeah. So it's just standard detection first. I'm not going to show this chart or anything. We've done this enough times. Right, so let's look at our guys. I've got our bomber up there, detected. Did he start detected? Or have I just wondered that? I know the helicopters do. Right, give me a sec till I find out how that should be. F111 CI aggression value 2 set up undetected. Yeah, that's been my mistake then. Now the map's a bit bigger here, so I'm maybe stretching at some points. So we've got 4 flights to check for us. None of them are at deck altitude. So yeah, well, let's just check for him. Maybe I should have rolled first. Turning him over again. This is just now. Right, so I'm not going to show these rolls as well. There's 2 dice we use for this. Right, and we're rolling on the C column, so they need a 12 to detect. So we're checking slam first. We've rolled 5, so no, it's not going to get slam. Right, and then moving down to there. I do have a bit of space on the actual map to put the tripod, so I can get a bit closer to things that way. I shouldn't need to use it. Once we get more in the middle of the map, I think I'll ease off. Right, so I'll check Chevy next. Again, 12 or greater. Roll 14, so Chevy is detected. And then Vegas next. 9, so that's okay. And then finally Dodge. 10. So no as well. So they only got 1 of ours. For theirs, so we're rolling on the D column, so it's slightly harder. We need a 13. Yeah, so we'll just go A, B, C, D, yeah? So starting with A.
Rolled 13 bang on. So A is detected. Remember, we've got 3 dummies in this game. Right, B 14. Okay, we've got better already for us. They're both diamonds. And then C 6. That's a no. And B 15. So yeah, so we're getting better rolls than they got. Right, and then down to the ones down south. So we've got E, F, G and H. So starting with E. Oh, 2. That's no good. F 6. Not happening. And G 9, 12. No, it just misses. And then H 11. Alright, a whole lot of nothing there then. Right, what about have we got any radars? Well, there's no, what is it, EWR, early warning radar stuff, but any other, I've not got the cards out. Yeah, that's what I'm missing. Yeah, so let's get the cards. Well, we've seen the aardvark before. That's our bombing flight. So I'll put that up. I'll put it up close to it if I can, if I've got space to put them. There's our F4D Phantoms 2s. So radar no look down 12 hit. It does have a that no look down back though. Does that affect actual radar detection then, does it? Mind you, hang on Grant, you're nowhere near within 12 hexes, are you? Of any of them. So we can forget about that for the moment, right? And then for they guys, there's our MiG-25 PD Foxbat, which has a range of 24. We can't do them, can we? Because they're still generic, so we can't even look at them yet anyway. There's a MiG-23M Flogger. I know we had a MiG-23 last time, but I don't think it was this guy. I'm pretty sure I switched it for something else. And then the MiG-21 SPS Fishbed, we've seen this one before. Well, I'll put them at the side because, well, until we identify or one of them becomes activated, then they're all generic flights for now. And there's this is Sam that's involved, but we've seen that before, the SE13. So I'll just leave that down at the side. And okay, well, there we go. So we've got our F4 Phantoms and that aardvark up the top. And the helicopter doesn't have a card, but there is special rules once we get to moving it. So that'll be it for detection then, won't it? Because I think the longest range we would have is 12 to try and detect, and then we can't consider them, like I've said, because they're still generic. Okay, moving on. Well, it's into movement now, isn't it? Okay. Oops. Okay, I've just noticed there's a good little spot down here for me rolling the dice at the moment. In fact, I don't think this area will get affected, so that'll be easier than me going across when I'm just using a dice roll. If I got the I wonder, maybe I could get a chart in there as well. Possibly. We'll see. What are we doing? We're rolling one dice here for... Where are we? I've put the player card 4 away. So it's 1 to 6 NATO, 7 plus Warsaw Pact. To see who gets the initiative. Right, it's Warsaw Pact. So they always accept the initiative, and they will take it and draw a chit. Just have a wee glance in here again. 4, 8, 10. Yeah, they're all there. Just in case one had jumped out somehow. Right, so for the NATO to start us off, and hang on, they've got 8 flights. It's 9 or more, isn't it? Draw initiative chat. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is 9 or less. It's small. Oh, it's 9. Oh, you need 10 then. Oh, it's only 2 in the large. Oh, is it nothing? Right, so this is going to be us to go first. Well, maybe not. I might draw the same chit. Quite possibly. I have. Right. I'm giving them a wee shuffle before we go. Oh, come on. Right, so 1. Right, so that was NATO. No, Warsaw Pact. So they're only getting 1. And again, the fact they're this far away, yeah. Yeah, some of you are probably saying, why not just move all these flights? I should really do that, shouldn't I? I don't like doing that. See, when I ever watch somebody's playthrough video on that, the last one I seen like this, I think it was DD at Saipan, the only other video that I found out there at the time, the guy with, and he was showing you all the stuff at the beginning, and then all of a sudden he said, right, and I'll just finish off moving all these. I was like, no, I want to see what's happening, and everything just got moved, and I was like, no, I'm not wanting that, so I don't really want to do that. But it does seem a bit silly. Well, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, maybe not, because our bomber's not far away from getting in. Well, is he going to reach in 1 in the first turn, though, Grant? Unlikely, no. At medium altitude, even if he he dashed at 6. Yeah, he's not going to reach. I don't want to spoil it by doing that. I know it means it's going to be a little bit boring though, isn't it? You know what? I want to do it that way. I just want to do it individually. You can always fast forward it. You can move on a bit because you can see nothing's going to happen right away. Because I'm talking about, I think the nearest thing that could happen is these, what speed do they go up, by the way? They can dash at 5 and 6 at the most. Phantoms. So I mean, they're not even going to reach them, but I don't think they want to. The only reason they would want to go near there is when Mother gets close, and she's only moving 1 hex. So she's got 1, 2, and then 3. No, I don't want to. Sorry, I don't want to just pause the camera and start moving everything. You know, moving each flight once. Because I think I could only do it once, because I'm pretty sure the second turn, Slam Flight is going to bomb something. To me, it looks like that's the case. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just going to do it my way. I know it will mean that this first part is probably going to be a bit boring, but you'll just need to persevere or just fast forward that. Okay, right. So what we're doing, we're checking what flight's going to activate first. I'm starting to feel this a bit stupid, though, isn't it? Why not just move them all, Grant? Yeah, hold on a second. Right, what I think I'll do is I'll move. I think this first turn we can just move everybody. It doesn't matter whose initiative's what. I don't think it's going to matter. If I come across a bit where I say, oh, that would have mattered, then I'll need to rewind it and start again from this point. Or I could cut this bit of video out and then redo it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to look at who's going to move first. I'm going to move all the Warsaw Pact flights, going by how they're moving. Now remember, I've already said I'm not going to use the random altitude thing, which when it reaches the second waypoint they would maybe, because they could maybe drop to deck, which I not see them ever wanting to do unless I'm missing something. So I'm going to chuck that initiative chip back, and I'm going to move all their flights. Then I'm going to move all my flights. I mean, it doesn't really matter what way I do it. Well, or does it? Well, I'll move all my flights first, in case there's something that, in case I can see them do. Well, I know where they're going. They're going towards the waypoints, aren't they? I mean, they're only going to get. I mean, what's their speed going to be? It's the fish bed, isn't it? So we can bring that out actually. It's going to be, they're at medium altitude, they're clean. they're going to be moving at 4. They're not even going to get to this second waypoint. So let's just move them first. Okay, and it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4. Problem is, I like the altitude difference because they could have went up to high. Mind you, high's not any good to them either unless they were dashing, But so I think we're talking pretty simply 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I suppose when you look at that, I could maybe even do this another turn. Well, I need to see what our flights end up at. Missed somebody there. No, that's his one. Right. And they're all at medium altitude. Now, I'm not even bother marking them with a cube because we know what's what. Yeah, so in this situation, I suppose it does make sense just to do this because I'm just going to do the same here, aren't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and they're all at medium altitude. Okay, right, and then let's do ours then, because we can obviously do things a little bit different if we want to, but yeah. Right, okay, I'm a little unsure about I'm just looking at the helicopter movement rules again. Oh well, the rules for the helicopter. I know I've not went over these, but on the flight log sheet, in the notes, it says that move 1 hex per turn, deck/low altitude only, must land from deck, use full movement points to land. But under helicopter movement, it also says that you can helicopters may fly at a speed of 0, in which case they are treated as if they spent 1 movement point during the movement phase. At speed 0, they may only climb, dive, land, and or turn. They may not leave their hex. I mean, they're helicopters, they can just hover there. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that or not, because the special scenario rules don't really help. It says that it's detected, remains detected when it lands. I mean, I can only go by the note on the flight log sheet. It says move 1 hex per turn. I mean, does that mean we have to move 1 hex per turn? And by the way, let me start with helicopter movement. This is on page 43, 25.1. Do not plot flight paths for helicopters. Helicopters may move freely. Helicopters have a combat throttle speed of 1 movement point and may not use dash throttle. They may freely turn any amount prior to and after their movement point expenditures. And then the next bit I read to you already. Helicopters may fly at a speed of 0, in which case they are treated as if they spent 1 movement point during their movement phase. At speed 0, they may only climb, dive, land, and or turn. They may not leave their hex. They only fly at deck and low altitude bands. They have full night capabilities and considered to have terrain following radar. For all purposes, they may not enter formations. Helicopters at deck altitude may land in any hex by expending all of their movement points, which we've already spoke about. I guess I'm just confused if I'm allowed to just hover there. Because I probably don't want to be rushing. I mean, I know he's only talking about moving 1 hex, but we only need to move 1, 2. Well, in fact, 1, 2. That's still this side of the. Is it? In fact, well, yeah, the fronts. See, I'm always. I mean, is that the other side of the front? That hex there. It's the way that arrows. I don't know. Is that hex? I've got to find this out because any hexes on that side of the front and going 5 in are obviously got the inherent. So I'm not sure. Well, to be honest, it doesn't. Well, it does matter. I still need to know if that hex is across the side, that side of the front. But I mean, where you could sort of, use my line to sort of say, is it like that maybe? I don't know. Is it over that side? It's that side of the front, and that hex is going through half of it. Hang on. Okay, the front is a continuous line of hexes running from the north to the south edge of the map or playing area, if not using the entire map. It represents the main. Yeah, we don't really need to know anymore. So it's a continuous line of hexes. So I suppose I would say that where that front marker is, this hex is that side of the front, so is that one. I don't know. Am I being too fussy here? Between these two front markers, where's the row of hexes? They come down here. Does it go around there and around there? Does it go in there and in there? Or it's not really clear. It's not really a line, is it? Am I just... Or hang on here. Hang on. Well, not really, because does it include this hex, for instance? Because the arrow's always pointed that way to say that side of the front, and I've never been that sure if it's... I've always took it that this hex itself is not on the Warsaw Pact side of the front. I've always took it that these are on the Warsaw Pact side, and this one is not. I could have that wrong. But why is there an arrow? I know that the arrow here is regarding a 5, but the original ones we used don't even have. They didn't even have a. They've just got a front with an arrow. That's what we started with, and to me that signified that. Sorry, can you see that? No, not really, Grant. To me, that was signifying that anything that side of that was, but that's all very well if you've got two, and I can understand that is all over that side of the front. But when we go from here to here, and is it not important, or am I making it? Is that hex? Which hexes? Yeah. It's not really a straight line, is what I'm kind of getting at, A continuous line of hexes. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so they come down here, but then it cuts in a bit. So do we kind of go and then cut in there and it comes down there? And then we cut in there, I suppose. That to me suggests to me this is not on the Warsaw Pact side of the front, but I don't know. Yeah. I think it's important because I need to know which hex. As soon as I cross the front, I need to know that, because if I'm going to be at lower deck altitude, then I'm going to get whatever it is, fire. I think I'm going to try and do it that way and say that everything to that side. So, well, I suppose I could come in there and go there, couldn't I? And then there. I suppose in actual fact you could go in there and then there and there, as long as you were inside, and then like that. In fact, like that. Yeah, I suppose something. I'm going to have to just go with that. If somebody's got a better maybe way of looking at that can explain it to Daft Grant about how it maybe should be. Okay, so I think I'm going to kind of consider, like I've said, that it's going to come in this hex and then go there. So I think that hex we're going to class as being on that side of the front. I don't think we're going to say that one is then. So 1, 2, which I think kind of makes sense. So as soon as we reach there, we're going to get the inherent fire. We're going to get the 2K22 fire as well. So yeah, so I guess that's what I'm just trying to decide. But I suppose the other thing I kind of need to know about this is, can we hover? Can we sit there at speed 0? I don't know. I feel like the intention looking at that flight log sheet says that we have to move 1 hex per turn, but come on here, we are a helicopter. Surely we can sort of say, well, no, we're not wanting to move, we're just going to hover here for a bit. Obviously, the longer we sit here, the longer it's not getting our mission's going to take, but we need to get other aircraft in first. I mean, obviously, yeah, I could move my bomber here first, and this is only going to move 1. Is it going to matter? Yeah, you know what, I'm probably being... I guess I want to know if I can hover, though, because if I do get to here and then decide, yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready to go in yet. You know what I mean? Well, you know what? We're getting close to the hour just now. So what I'll do is, I'll move my flights here, and I'll move mother flight 1 hex, because that's fine. I'm happy enough moving her 1 hex just now, and I'll be alright at moving her the 2nd hex. It's just that 3rd hex, I might want to say, right, I'm just want to hover for a bit, but I might not be allowed to. I don't know. The way it's worded there, move 1 hex per turn, it could be that you've got to do it. I don't think so. I think it's just telling you that that's what you can do. You can only move 1 hex per turn. But it might be that there's... I think it would be in the special scenario rules, to be honest, if it was telling you that. Okay, right, let's get... Well, the bombing flight's probably the most important. He's at medium altitude. Yeah, but I need to know what about his bombs. Well, do you really need to know just now, Grant? Are you not just going to... is it worth going to high altitude? No, probably not. Well, you know what? I think our Phantom should go to high altitude. So let's select Chevy, right? Let's move Chevy, and let's dash them. They've got plenty of fuel. They've got 10 fuel each, and the bomber's got loads of fuel. So I'm going to dash all my flights here. So we're going to dash Chevy. He's at medium altitude, so he's got a speed of 5. We're going to... I think so. I think we'll climb up to high. Yeah, I think we're going to climb them all to high. So that's 1 movement point, right? I've got 4 movement point left. I know there's no dice there, but now you see that's going to get inside the front. We need to watch this. Yeah, that's fine. So I've got 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think so. I think we're just going to go straight ahead for now. Like I say, you know, there's not an awful lot's going to happen in the first. Right, so we're going to dash the other 2 as well. Okay, it looks like I'm just going to finish this and then just put a... I suppose we got a turn in. Right, so again, same thing with him. Move him to high for 1 of the 5 movement points. And then 2, 3, 4, 5. He's at high. He's dashed. Now I did think about... I mean, you can see that these flights are coming up this way, and they're going to be... The other flights are going to be kind of further away, so I suppose we're going to see these guys first, aren't we? But I don't want to completely ignore them up there. Well, maybe you should... Well, right, let's take Dodge and just make a wee bit a different alteration to him. So we're going to dash him as well. And we are going to climb up high. So I've got 4 movement points left. I'm going to go... Well, actually, with my climb to high, I'm going to free turn them 30 degrees. Right, okay, remember, turns, Grant. They're relevant. Right, that's one movement point. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he's kind of went down a little bit. A little bit. There. Okay. Right, and then... Well, just move... Well, yeah. I was wondering about should I go to high, but I don't think so. I mean, if I dash at medium just now, I've got 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, then I'm in range of being able to do something, haven't I? Yeah, I think so. I think we just dash him. Oh, hang on, he's wading, of course, isn't he? That's not 6 then, is it? It would be 4. Yeah, I'm forgetting about that. So yeah, okay, that does make it much clearer. Well, actually, maybe I do want to go high then. I don't know though. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't quite get me there, but if I, yeah, I'm only going to gain. So if I went, yeah, but I'm going to. It's going to take. I'm not going to get to move 4 because I'm only going to get to move 3 and climb 1 altitude band. I don't know, and then I'm going to be sitting there and being able to move 5, which is just the same, isn't it? Yeah, it's not really. It doesn't look like we're going to get there in 2 turns, does it? So this is kind of relevant about the mother flight, because I don't think we're going to be able to get to do anything. Must be able to hover. Must be able to. It's a helicopter. Well, hang on. It does just say move 1 hex per turn, Grant. It doesn't actually say you've got to move 1 hex in that direction. And before or after your movement, it did say you can turn as much as you like, because it's a helicopter. So yeah, that's fine. So I could just move between the hex and the hex if I wanted to. But I suppose it would be nice to know if I can just decide to say, look, I'm just going to sit. I'm not going to spend. I'm going to set my speed at 0 and just hover there. Which I think we can do. But you can see it's not. I suppose at first I was thinking, right, I've got to move in there, and then I've got to move in there. It's not really saying that. I mean, obviously that's where we want to be heading, but maybe not just right now. Right, okay, I don't think we're going to change his altitude then. We're just going to dash on 1, 2, 3, 4 at medium. I think so, because he's going to have to drop down to, well, at least low. I've still not had a look at these bombs yet, but my guess would be deck or low we need to go. Okay, is that everybody moved then? It is, isn't it? Right, okay, well, let's sort out the fuel issues then, because I think oh, hang on, no, not everybody's moved. Mother's not moved. Yeah, I mean, I'll just move it 1 hex ahead. It's fine there. It's just that, and it's fine there. It's just not going to be fine there. So, but if I could get to there and then just hover until I'm ready, which I think I should be able to be allowed to do. Right, so that's everybody moved now. And then, so all our flights, apart from the helicopter, obviously, had dashed. So, mark fuel off on Chevy, Vegas, Dodge, and Slam. None of the Warsaw Pat flights dashed. Sorry, I should really be looking at my... So that was the movement phase. That's flights that use dash throttle. Yeah, SAM location phase. Well, it's only a SA13. It's already located. So yeah, track phase. Right. Well, we can do that. Remember, the helicopter doesn't check for this. So I should take the dash markers off, shouldn't I? Right, give me a sec. Right, so track phase, nobody's at deck or low, so nothing to look at there, so there's not going to be any modifiers. Any curly bracket results are going to not turn into anything anyway. Right, I'm going to roll these off camera. Well, it's just a quick roll, this, Grant. I know, but you don't really need to see. Right, on the C column for the Warsaw Pact side of things. Sorry, for the NATO. The C Warsaw Pact detection level, but it's for the NATO flights, right? Track table, right. 13. Yeah, I don't think I was showing these dice rolls before anyway. It's not really that. It can be important, don't get me wrong, but 13, right? Well, what is it, Grant? 13 on the C, right? It's nothing. It's a whole lot of nothing. Right, and I'm just going to do the Warsaw Pact one off camera, right? Because it's easier. They're rolling the D column. Yeah, I didn't show these before. 15. That could be a whole lot of nothing as well. That is, right. So nice and simple. Nothing happening. And, yeah, no, we don't need to talk about that. SAM acquisition. There's none of that. There's no radar SAMs. Anyway, we've just got the one infrared SAM. Admin phase. Yeah, there's nothing more to do. There's no markers to come off. We removed the dash markers for the fuel anyway. So, yeah, it's a pretty simple turn, isn't it? It's a pretty simple turn. Well, I suppose, yeah, questions. Mother, can the helicopter hover? Can it just set its speed at 0? Apart from that, well, scratch my head a little bit about the 2K-22s being able to attack undetected flights, but I think that's a silly thought. I think just where I was reading it about AA barrage, because it mentioned detected and undetected, I'm assuming that's the same for all. It's just that it doesn't say it in the other ones, but it doesn't say one way or the other. And we've had that quite a lot in this game, whereas, you know, sometimes if it doesn't say something, then it should apply, but then sometimes you're wanting to say something just to confirm that, you know. I guess that's all about how you do rules and things like that. How you set it out. I've had that. I have had that a few times in this game. Not that it's a big, you know, it's a big down thing. Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, it probably works for most folk. It's maybe just the way I think of things sometimes that it's sometimes nice to see these things written, but then you can imagine the rulebook gets bigger and bigger because you're adding all this, right, if this is that, then it can't do that, and it can do this, and whereas if it just doesn't say some things, it saves on space and whatever. Okay, right, well, we're at an hour and 8 minutes, and I know there wasn't an awful lot of action there, but I'll certainly, yeah, that wasn't too bad doing that, to be honest, and I will do that. Well, can I? I think I can. We've seen that our bomber can't reach, and our fighter. So what I'll do is, yeah, maybe not. Our fighters, what's their BVR range? 5 from the front. We could certainly move this 4. So what I'll do is I think I'll move all them first, because they're not going to get in the action. Just these maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe up to there. You could see Dodge there could probably come, possibly have a BVR engagement. So I might need to deal with that a bit more carefully. But I think I could move all these one more turn at least. Okay, I'll get away for now. That's probably me for the night. Back to work again. In the morning, not too early, but it's, yeah, I'm going to just hit on the head, I think. And, yeah, I'll hopefully going to review this bit back and start get back to that again, because it wasn't great there at the end. I felt like, you know, I spotted the mistakes, and I like to spot them myself. You know, I like to show that yeah, I can make mistakes, but I also like to show that I know when I've made the mistake. You know, as well. So It is nice. I do prefer to watch the videos back, but so I'll probably do that tomorrow on the way to work and get the train into work again tomorrow. And but I'll get it uploaded sometime soon anyway. Okay, and I'll be back with next part. Well, it'll be part 3 sometime soon. Okay, cheers.